Welcome back. My name is Charlene, and I'm with My Transgender Nation. I'm here today again with Jessica and her sister Doris, and we're going to talk to them about their relationship and advice and tips on how to talk to your family members and what questions to ask and how to move forward through your transition. Welcome, Doris.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
How are you?
Awesome.
Good. So we want to take you back. We know that you're obviously Jessica's sister, and before Jessica was Jessica, she was CJ. And why don't we go back to when Jessica was CJ, and what was your relationship like with CJ?
Well, I was the youngest out of everybody, so there's a middle sister in between us. So there was a 4-year gap. So, I mean, I had a good relationship, but I was kind of like always on the back end of everything because I was the youngest. So they were doing stuff that I wasn't allowed to do yet. Yeah. Yeah. But I did do a lot of the stuff. But it was always good. I can't say that it wasn't bad or anything. You know, there was always something there that seemed like there was. I can't put it into the best of words other than a wall that I couldn't quite figure out why it was there. And I never questioned whether my brother loved me. I never questioned loyalty or anything like that. There was just something, and I couldn't put my finger on it.
And what was your favorite thing to do with CJ? Did you hang out? Did you go out?
Laugh and dance. I love to laugh and dance.
Yep.
So we're
CJ
good at both of those.
We're good at both of those.
Yeah. And so before CJ came out and talked to you, and we'll go into how that all happened, did you have any idea that your brother wanted to transition?
Oh God, no, none whatsoever. Never in my wildest dreams, thoughts, nightmares, whatever. It never crossed my mind, not once. My brother was such a guy's guy. I mean, Jessica still loves to ride a motorcycle, be on boats, you know, but all the things that you expect out of a brother to do. I remember it had the most horrible van that kept trying to fix up in the driveway, and just as it got it running, it would die. So she always did guy stuff, and she had a lot of guy friends, a lot of girlfriends, very social. So it never, ever crossed my mind, not once.
Which I find amazing because there were times where, like, you know, I'm hiding stuff in my bedroom after dressing up and thought for sure that everybody had figured out what I had just done. Apparently nobody had any idea, which was pretty amazing.
Not a clue.
Jessica, how hard was that for you to be in a house with two sisters and to want to be one of the sisters and not being able to do that?
Oh, painful in that regard. Very, we had a great relationship, you know, we got along for the most part, you know, siblings, you know, have their issues, but we did good. And, you know, we did a lot of, you know, especially when we were young, you know, the family unit did a lot of things together.
Yep.
You know, vacations and everything. So, and then we lived in a pretty cool neighborhood for most of our life, and it was filled with young kids. So we were always out of the house 12 months a year, mind you, too, you know.
Yeah.
Not just in the
come
summer.
home till dinner time.
Yeah, you came home when, you know, when it's time to eat. And then when you went back out after dinner, you know, when somebody screamed out the back door and said, "Get your ass in here," you came home again, you know.
Yeah.
But short of that, we were always doing something, you know.
We were always gone.
Yeah, just doing something. So, and a lot of times, you know, there'll be several age groups that are packed together in this massive crew of kids. So, so that all worked out really well. But in terms of being a girl on the inside and a guy on the outside and having to deal with it, I had to hide it. So, and apparently I did a pretty good job because nobody knew. Right? But I had to hide the whole thing from everyone. And I learned really early on, like 5-ish, that, I had to hide it so that my father especially had no idea what I was doing. Had to go underground. And to be honest, when I was that age, my inclination was to do everything girly. And I realized that if I was girly, I was going to catch major crap.
Get your ass beat.
So I paid attention to all my guy friends. And when I was, I emulated what they did. And I basically became a really good actor. And I pretty much considered myself to be an actor my whole life until I finally got to step out and be me.
And when you tell us about, you could each tell your side of the story, but when you actually did tell your sister, take us back to that.
Doris, you can hit that one, and I'll follow up.
Well, almost 2 years prior to that, she had called me up and said that her and her wife were getting a divorce. And that blew my socks off, because if you had known the two of them, everybody like wanted to have their relationship. And then the other bomb being dropped was that his ex-wife wanted to be with women. And I was just like, so so she called me up, and with that same tone of voice, is like, I gotta tell you something. And I'm like, what now? What could it possibly be? So I was thrilled, because all of a sudden the light bulbs went out. Off, not out, off, on. Hello. And I'm like, holy crap, this makes so much sense. And of course, at the time, my late husband was still alive. So I'm like, I can't tell him, he'll flip out, and she's like, no, don't worry about it. And then he died, I think, 2 months later. So it all kind of worked out. God forgive me in Jesus' name, amen. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but he never would have understood it in a million years. And I love Jessica with all my heart. And I love hanging out with her. So as a matter of fact, she was already dressing as Jessica and came to my husband's funeral dressed as CJ, out of respect for me. So it didn't become about her. And that must have been the most incredibly difficult thing to do. And I was so thankful for it. And, I kept going up to her, and I was like, I bet you can't wait to go home and change, kind of thing. I was just like, I felt so bad. I really did. But I was thrilled when she told me, because everything started to make sense. And then, of course, more phone calls and discussions later, we talked about, the whole ball of wax. But in general, I was just happy to know the final piece of the puzzle and what was not making sense to me all these years.
And Jessica, what was your biggest fear in telling your sister? Or did you think she would accept you before you told her? Or?
I was fairly confident that it would go well, but it is to some extent a roll of the dice with everyone that you tell. You can have ideas how you think you're going to go just based on what your relationship is like with somebody, but still, until you tell them, you don't know. It's like
crapshoot.
Sevens, let's go. So I had an inclination of how it was going to go, and it was great. I mean, she's been in my corner. She's been an advocate. Her and my daughter Kelly are my two biggest advocates for sure, and we've never looked back since I did tell her. So it's been very helpful. I'm very thankful for especially the two of them, because it's quite the process to go through. And you need people in your corner. I mean, there's highs and lows through this whole thing, and when you hit those lows, you need someone you can talk to. So thank God for those two.
And how is it now being three sisters instead of a brother and two sisters?
I love having another sister, and Jessica and I are a lot alike in a lot of ways. She's even more girly than me. And the annoying part of it is I have to up my freaking girl game when she's around, because she gets her nails done. She's got the jewelry on, her makeup's done, her hair's done. And she's like, do you want to go out? And I'm sitting here in my sweats and, my hair is up in a, bun or something. And I don't have a stitch of makeup on. And I'm like, oh, crap. That means I got to put makeup on. Okay. I mean,
now, do you share clothes or do you share makeup tips?
Yes, we do actually. Yeah, I have several pieces of clothes that she's passed off to me in my closet for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how about you?
One I want back.
Tell me, I'll bring it over. Just tell me which one it is.
When I lose a couple more pounds, I'll get back to you.
Oh, okay. I know which one I'm talking about. Yes.
The one that hugs the body.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
How is it for you,
Jessica's very
Jessica?
nice
Now that you
and
were a
fair.
brother, now you're a sister.
I'm sorry?
Say that again.
For Jessica, how is it for you now that you are a sister and you were a brother? Like do you relate to them differently, or do you?
Oh, well, so I have two sisters, and I am a girly girl, and Doris is girly, not as girly as me, as she mentioned, and my other sister is less girly. She's extremely supportive and everything else, but she's less girly. So I would say that the relationship with each of them is different just because of the type of girls that we are,
Do you still feel like most brothers feel very protective over their sisters? Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely. I mean, if something was to occur in either of their lives, I'd step up in a heartbeat and be ready to smash the crap out of who or whatever it was,
Right back at you, sis.
So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't mess with my sister.
Both of them, I mean, my sister Kate, when I went through my surgeries, my sister Kate, she went to Florida with me, and she went to Philadelphia with me for another surgery. So, I mean, she's been right there in my corner. She's been extremely helpful, but it's just different, because of the type of girls we are. But it's kind of cool though, in the same regard, it's like, because now I have sisters who, I can relate to.
You're one of the sisters.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like she said, I was hiding something all along, and I really couldn't be me. I was being CJ, but CJ wasn't a real human being. CJ was a made up human being,
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely different now for sure.
And Doris, how is Jessica different than CJ?
Jessica isn't as guarded emotionally. She's still as fun. She's still the same person. She still loves to do all the same things, but she's free and she's actually who she should have been. So that's the only way I can say she's different. Mm-hmm. She's still the same person to me. She's still my sibling. She's just not my brother. She's my sister. Mm-hmm. So the personality is still there. I don't think she has as much of a death wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. She used to be a little wild, younger, because, at that point you're living in a situation where you're not happy with who you are and you don't know why. And so she was a little wild, took a lot of risks.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
quite a few.
Yeah. Is there anything that you miss about CJ?
Ooh.
No, because I still have CJ, but in Jessica, and so not really. I mean, I've never lost anything. I just gained a sister, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I never lost a sibling. CJ didn't die. CJ just was always really Jessica. So.
Jessica, do you miss anything about CJ?
Nope.
Okay.
I had a funny feeling she was going to say that.
No. I was glad to see him go.
Okay.
All his parts and everything.
Yeah.
Let's see ya. Moving on.
Doris, what kind of advice would you give to other siblings who are, have a sibling who are going through a transition, or other family members, of either how to, cope with this, or how to understand it, or
well,
what would you?
It's not about you It's more about them and supporting them, and to ask questions when they, like, even if you have to, you get off the phone and say, why didn't I ask that? Write them all down. There's going to be thousands of questions. I still ask her questions to this day. It was like a couple years afterwards, and all of a sudden I called her CJ out of the blue. I have no idea why, but of course I grew up all my life calling Jessica CJ. So it just,
Right.
and she kind of looked at me, she goes, where the hell did that come from? I'm like, I have no idea. So, but just to ask questions, if you need to talk to somebody else outside your family, a professional that deals with this, and read a lot, and just be kind and open and loving, because you still have that person in your life. You're not losing anything. You're gaining the person that they always should have been. And they're going to be a lot happier for it. You always love them then, you'll always love them now. The love doesn't change.
Were there any resources or books, like you had mentioned books, or anything that really spoke to you that you can remember?
Not in particular. I did do a lot of Google searches, and I've been seeing a therapist about every 2 weeks since my husband passed away. So I had that to help me with that also, because I think she told me, I think in November, and Ed passed about a month or two after that. And so I started therapy a month or two after that. So I had somebody to talk to that wasn't a family member, that wasn't a friend, that, was a no judgment zone. I could say anything I wanted to. And I highly recommend it. I was dealing with the death of my husband. I was dealing with a 15-year-old daughter, and I was dealing with a sister that wanted to that was going through the transition, that used to be my brother. So having that in my life was real important. I had more issues with the death of my husband than the birth of my sister, to be quite honest with you. She made it
I like the way you said that. That's cool.
She made it really easy too, because when I wanted to ask her questions, I could. There was nothing that was off limits with her. And
still true.
It's still true. And if I screwed up with the pronouns at first, and I said he instead of she or whatever, she didn't get her knickers in a knot or panties in a twist. But now she can get her panties in a twist. But yeah, she didn't get all pissed off. She just knew that, it takes time, and you're not doing it to be malicious or mean. It's just, you've grown up for 50 plus years together, and you've always used the same pronouns and the same name. It takes a little time. And she was learning too. So we all kind of learned together.
And what was what were the questions that you were most curious about at first?
The surgery. I was wondering if she was going to have the surgery. And that was oh, hell yeah. That was her answer, basically. Asking her about hair and hormones and makeup and this and that and the other thing, and just how she's embraced being a woman. It's just amazing. She actually kind of made me up my girl game, like I said before, but also, taking care of myself. I've been in some bad car accidents, and I've had some real back issues, and I can't work anymore. So seeing her like lose weight and get in shape and do yoga and everything else, I was like, I'm a nutritionist. I should know better, and, get up and do my stretching and walk my dog more and everything else. So she's been a good role model for me to get my act together and take better care of myself.
Thank you.
Did you have a biggest fear when Jessica told you?
I still have it to this day. My biggest fear is people that don't understand it, especially with the climate that we're in now. There are a lot of people out there that have come out of the woodwork and out of the shadows that think it's okay to hate because of race, color, religion, or sexuality.
I think the environment we're in has made it easier for those people to come out of the woodwork too.
Oh, yes. They came out like, termites out of the woodwork when you pop the siding off. And that scares me, because Jessica is one of the most loving, giving people you'll ever meet in your life. She'll give you the shirt off your back. She's an incredible businesswoman. She's very smart. And to think that somebody would just hate her because of the fact that she was born a boy and now is a woman just doesn't make any sense to me. But there are people like that out there. And for that, it frightens that living daylights out of me. And so, yeah, that's my biggest fear with this whole thing, is that people that don't want to understand and have no tolerance for it.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's frightening. It is very frightening. And that's what scares me more than anything, because I look at Jessica, I don't see CJ anymore. I see Jessica, I see my sister, and I love her with all my heart, and if anybody hurt her because of that, I don't know what I would do. I really don't. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. And to wrap up, what's the most important thing about being in a relationship with a transgender person? What would you tell someone? What's the most important thing?
You haven't lost anything. They are becoming the person they should have been at birth, and you haven't lost anything. If anything, you've gained that person's true self, and they're going to be able to love you back wholeheartedly now, because they are who they should have always been.
That's right.
And if you can get that and wrap that in your brain, you've never lost a brother or a sister. You haven't lost that person. They're still the same person on the inside. So once you can get to that point, you can do anything. And just make sure that you ask questions.
And Jessica, what's your final piece of advice in this segment of our interviews?
Wow. I think I said it pretty good the last time, but I guess maybe I'll reiterate it, is that you just got to be yourself, and not get wound up about what other people think. Because so many people get, they get in a lather about whether or not they pass, whether or not they get called by the right pronouns, look at the way they're looking at me. I think they think I'm a male. You're not cisgender, which is somebody who's born in the gender that they were born in. You're transgender, and you will always be transgender. So don't try to hide from it. Embrace it, enjoy it, celebrate it, and just be the best you can be, and move on. Be super trans,
Shall I make you a cake along with?
Oh, wait, we can do this.
Okay. There we go. Yeah.
Queen trans, right? So just be the best trans you can be, and embrace it and stop hiding from it. There's nothing wrong with being trans, Just be good at it.
Yes. You gotta love yourself.
Be queen trans,
Well, thank you, Jessica and Doris. It's great having you both here, and I know that this interview will touch many and help millions. I know it will.
I
hope so. That's the whole point of this, is to help others.
Yep.
So, we got more interviews coming soon, and other family members, and we're going to expand beyond immediate friends and family members. It's going to be a fun ride. So I look forward to seeing where we go with this, Doris. Thank you so much for joining us
thank you,
today.
love you.
Love you too.
Okay.
And for more information, you can go to Jessica's website, which is mytransgendernation.com.
So
She can also be found on Facebook and Instagram. You can certainly join her pages and her groups. And the whole premise behind mytransgendernation.com is to help people, give advice, have a place that everyone feels safe to ask questions, to communicate with each other, and to be open. So we hope
absolutely.
to see all of you again soon. And thanks again, Jessica and Doris. And we
Thanks
will
for
be
hosting.
back
It's been
soon
good.
with more great interviews.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next one too. All right, everybody have a great day. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Love you. Bye.